Hey everybody, Mark Ling here again, and the guest I have with you today happens to be he happens to be the brother of a friend of mine called Chris. Now, um, Chris, he and another guy I know called Keegan are doing super well as affiliate marketers, like blowing it up on with video ads and stuff like that, promoting affiliate offers and doing really well. And what we did with Chris and Keegan and Keegan was one of our, they were both our students back in the day, but now they're friends of ours, and they're actually doing super well with what they're doing. And we got them to put together a little group of beta testers of this new model that Chris and Keegan developed. Okay, so this is Lloyd's brother, Chris. And Lloyd was one of the guys that decided, yeah, I'll have a go at this. Lloyd is a biologist and a musician, and he thought, I'd actually like to be able to have a go at what Chris is doing, because I could do with some extra cash to be able to fund, my music projects or fund his science, like, because he doesn't get to choose his projects, because unless he's got his own funding, he can't choose which biology projects he does, stuff like that. So he thought, this sounds awesome. And this was 3 months ago now. So Lloyd, during that time, has got himself making between $1,000 and $2,000 a day in clear profit. I'm not saying that's how much he makes and then half of that's sucked up in ad expenses. I'm saying that's his profit, 1 to 2K a day. $2,500 is so far his best day. The only thing that's limiting him from actually scaling it up higher and higher faster is simply the cash flow. He's just waiting for the money to come in, and then it keeps going up because he reinvests it back into ads and stuff. And anyways, he's had a phenomenal success already, like right from the start with this stuff. So that's why I wanted to bring him in to be able to share a little bit of his inspiration about what's going on. So welcome to the call, Lloyd.
How's it going, Mark? It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you here. So Lloyd, by the way, is from, you're in Sydney, Australia, is that correct?
Yeah, basically.
So just an example, you don't have to be in the US to do this stuff. You could be anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. So that's great for people to know. Now, what was it like having a brother, like doing a bit of internet marketing, going really well while you're slaving away, studying really hard, doing your, being a biologist? It must be quite a hard career, and yet the pay must be completely different in terms of pay rates and stuff like that. Like what was that like?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting dynamic, right? Like I studied for 3 years to start doing research projects. And at that, I was probably getting around like 30K a year just as kind of like a freshman in the research side of things. So seeing myself go through such rigorous tests while getting paid such a little amount while watching my brother make multiple thousands of dollars a day was really eye-opening, especially considering the fact that I had a lot of negative beliefs around money at that point in my life. Money's the root of all evil, etc., all that nonsense. So seeing my brother pull that amount of money in such a small time frame really just kind of opened my mind to endless possibility. It was a really weird, it was a weird experience, but it was a beautiful one at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting though about the negative money mindset. Sometimes I forget that people have them until I start talking to a student and finding like that's why they get to 80-90% and then they just stop, and you have to like nudge them and drag them through to that next little stage. And I find out, it's a mindset. We need to actually rework that side of things. Like, one, what was that mindset like? And two, how did you get past that so that you could just break that, you could step through and actually do this stuff and not feel like there's anything wrong with making more money for yourself or doing something that's outside of your normal career?
Yeah, right. Good question. So number one, the mindset was like, well, being a biologist, I was kind of orientated around the earth. I wanted to really fight the issues in terms of, deforestation, habitat destruction, all that type of stuff. And from what I looked at from my limited point of view, I saw a lot of that coming from kind of like a capitalistic society. So my frame on capitalism was quite negative. Then I saw Christopher start making a lot of money relatively like ethically as well, because a lot of the money kind of, won't go into that, So that's where my mindset kind of was. And it makes sense because I was studying biology, I wanted to save the planet, et cetera, et cetera. So how I broke through that was simply Christopher was leading by example. He was making a freaking ridiculous amount of money in a ridiculously short period of time ethically. And from there, he's kind of got a very spiritual inclination. So he sat me down, he talked to me. This is a really weird experience because he's my little brother, right? I'm the older brother. He's 3 years younger than me. It's meant to be the other way around. But anyways, he sat me down, he showed me what he was doing, he explained it thoroughly. He's like, look, money's not the root of all evil. Money gives people power. If the person is already a bad person, the money's going to reveal that, right? So I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So I started getting into that, and definitely haven't looked back. That was in a nutshell.
People just become more of who they are, I think, with money. An asshole will become a bigger asshole.
Exactly.
A good person seems to be able to do a lot more good with it. It's definitely not evil, but it can be a magnifier. So how did you find it in terms of difficulty, like doing the model? Did you find the model, obviously it involves like video ads leading to an affiliate like type landing page through to promote a product? Was any of that difficult? Like, was it difficult to figure out how to put a web page together? Or was it difficult to create a video ad in the first place for you following this style of training?
For me in particular, it wasn't too difficult, especially considering the style of training that we got in the PowerCell and the beta group. Using the software that you guys provided, making the website was really easy. There's examples to follow. So as long as there's like a framework you can follow, it's kind of pretty hard to screw up. So the video content creating was actually, it's pretty fun making a video and then seeing that video convert and then make you money. It's kind of got a bit of a creative aspect to it. So I really enjoyed that. And in terms of answering your question, I didn't find any of the process really that difficult. I mean, making the script is probably the tiniest part more challenging than the other parts. But once again, with the examples and the frameworks.
I should also mention, because you made the scripts before we made the template software that people now have access to. So there was no template. You were taught the psychology of the script and how to go about it. But now people can fill in the blanks. I don't even know if you've been handed that software yet yourself, but we've made software where for every single part of the video process, there's like dozens of alternate options, and you fill in the blanks with the kind of offer you're promoting, like for the introduction, for the next section, the next section, the next section, and you fill in the blanks, and you end up having a really good script that converts. So, it's kind of good though that you were, even without a template, listening to the training, you were still able to do it and succeed. So, that's a testament to your ability and also the training. What I like about the videos is that you don't have to be on camera. You don't have to use your own voice. It pulls in stock footage and stuff like that. Do you use robot voices as well, or do you use like a voice actor?
Yeah, this is a great point. When I first heard about YouTube ads, I was like, oh man, it's going to be such a process because I need to use a voice actor. I need to do the voices myself. I don't know how well my voice would convert in YouTube. And then I realized that the beta group, they use AI generated voices, so robot voices. I was like, that can't work. And all of a sudden, I don't think out of the fair few people in the beta group, I don't think anybody has used an actual voice actor. And even the most successful student, I think he tested between the robot voice and the voice actor, and the robot voice every time outperformed the voice actor.
That is pretty crazy. And I'm just going to show a quick example to anyone that hasn't seen an example of a robot voice or hasn't, I'm just going to press play. I'm moving my microphone to my computer, so it's not the same. It will sound better if it was actually straight from my computer through to this, but it should sound good enough. I'm just going to do this. Press play.
Hi Ryan, what do you think of this voice? Does it sound realistic enough? Even if it's not perfect, it's more than good enough.
I recorded that for Ryan, by the way, in case you're wondering why it said hi Ryan and not hi Lloyd. but you should get the idea about that. Like you can basically type what you want and it comes out and it sounds perfectly realistic. It's and that's just one accent. Obviously there are plenty, whether you want a British accent or an American or a woman or a male and stuff like that. I think that's it's pretty exciting. So what are your plans going forwards? Like, are you like what I often ask people like how much do you want to make and all of this, but let's forget about the money side of things. What do you want to do? Like what sort of things are you going to do with the money now that things are going all right and you're going to scale things up? How does it change your life? Like, how will Lloyd's life look 12 months from now thanks to what's going on?
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think. The biggest thing to come from this for me personally right now is the time freedom that I have. Like, I don't have to work for somebody. I used to do sales before I did marketing to kind of bridge the gap between, the money situation I was talking about. I was working for American companies, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to take calls. Like, it was pretty brutal. So the crazy thing about this is, like, I wake up in the morning and it kind of feels like Christmas nearly every morning, depending on how the day's going. So yeah, I've just got so much time now to not only plan out my future and really kind of knuckle down on the science projects, the research projects that I want to move forward with, and the music projects that I want to move forward with. So my main intention with the money that I get, or the money that I make with this, in general, it's going to be moving towards more of a kind of like a permaculture farm with my brother Chris. So I won't go into too much detail on painting the whole picture, but like we've got big plans to kind of create like an empire, like a physical thing for our family and the people that want to be involved.
Yeah, I think it's important to stay grounded though and be thinking along those sort of lines. Like, what was your dream beforehand, and how does it help you like become more of that? I think it's fantastic. It sounds really, really exciting. That's awesome. So anyway, I just want to say a big thank you for joining us. What would you say to anybody that was considering maybe jumping on a call with Chris and Keegan, where they might be teaching an introduction to all of this stuff and sharing all this stuff, or perhaps even someone considering joining their program? What would you say to them?
So coming from somebody that had a lot of negative beliefs in terms of making money, in terms of entrepreneurship, I can speak about this from a personal level. And I see this in a lot of my friends. They see us making a lot of money, but no one really asks questions. And I think a big feeling behind that is because they think it's too good to be true. And they don't want to, they're a bit afraid of the greatness they can achieve with that amount of money. Like, a lot of people settle for mediocrity. So my advice is, it's going to be nerve-wracking moving into something online for various reasons. I'm not going to get into that. But that nervousness, that nerve-wracking, that's the resistance you have to push through. If you can push through that point and actually make an investment in yourself, because you have to see this as an investment, right? Something that you need to put in time, you need to put in energy, and you have to have a good intention behind it. So if you have those three things, then it's not really a risk, because you're going to be learning a lot through this process, how to be an entrepreneur, how to, start tracking and being financially literate. So my main word to somebody in that situation is just do it, make that investment in yourself. And I mean, if you're looking at the current economic climate, there isn't much time to really start making big moves to set yourself up in the future to be in the best possible position. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and an online business doesn't get locked down during lockdown, if there is a lockdown. So that's kind of cool too. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits.
On that one.
Hey, thanks so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. You've been awesome. And for everyone watching, make sure you take action, and hope to see you on the workshop and also in the members area as part of the program. It's potentially life-changing experience. All right, bye for now, everyone.